Douglas Bickford. It's the 29th of June 2021. And I am on YouTube teaching self-esteem because nobody is teaching self-esteem. And self-esteem is how you feel about yourself. It's called self-love also. In order to have a healthy relationship with anybody, including a romantic relationship, you have to love yourself first, okay? Because if you don't love yourself first before you get in any relationship, then you'll be in an unhealthy relationship because you will attract somebody that's unhealthy like you. And we're being taught through all the media, Facebook, social media, the television, the radios, that you have to love somebody else before you love yourself. And it doesn't work out that way. You can have all kinds of relationships, romantic, including romantic relationships. But if you don't love yourself first, it'll be an unhealthy relationship, okay? So I am a teacher of self-esteem, how to obtain self-esteem, okay? Now, here's what you do to get self-esteem on steroids, and it works. Go to the mirror, look at yourself and say, I love you. Say, I love my inner child. Say, I'm not going to live in the past in guilt, and I'm not going to live in the future in anxiety. Say, I'm worthy to be loved. Say, I'm worthy to love. Say, I'm full of goodness. I'm a good person. None of the past sexual, emotional, physical abuse I took as a child is my fault. Say, I take responsibility for all the pain I've caused, and I will not make the same mistake twice. And say, I will not mask the pain I have received, and I will not deny the pain I've received, and not mask it with drugs, alcohol, sex, TV, religion, another person. If you say those things in the mirror, and you do it every day, write it down if you have to. Do it every day, and do not tell anybody you're doing it, because they'll criticize you, and then you won't do it. And to obtain self-esteem and maintain it, you have to practice it. It's kind of like lifting weights. If you don't do it, practice it, you'll lose it. Okay, so just say that daily in the mirror to yourself. Don't tell anybody you're doing it. Just do it, okay? And I guarantee you from Douglas Bickford out here in Klamath Falls, Oregon, that it will change your life, okay? Anyway, I'm going through a book. I get all my concepts out of the book. It's called The Portable Therapist. It's written by a doctor of psychology. She's a psychiatrist, folks. She went to school for 8 to 10 years to get her doctorate in psychology. She wrote a book. Her first book was called The Portable Therapist. This book will change your life. It's in a link in the description of this video. Go get it. It's cheap. Read it. And I'm telling you, it'll change your life. And the most important thing we can have as human beings is self-esteem. And I'm going to say 99% of the population is running around without self-esteem. They don't know we have an inner child. They don't know anything about self-esteem. We all have an inner child. You got to say it in the mirror. I love my inner child. I'm going to take care of my inner child. Okay. This is how you obtain self-esteem. It's called mirror therapy. It works. I'm not the same person I was 8 months ago. I got out of a toxic relationship, marriage, fourth one. And I put an ad on Craigslist. I didn't have self-esteem in 2017. And the reason I didn't have self-esteem was because it started out for me when I was a child. I got sexually abused by my father, along with one other brother and four sisters. Destroyed them too. I'm the only one out here talking about it. Okay, so I'm teaching self-esteem, and I'm going through the book Portable Therapist. This is chapter 6. It's called Why Am I So Afraid? And like I said, get the book and read it, folks. It will change your life. Fear is one of the earliest and most basic emotions. It is necessary for survival of the species and critical for the survival of the infant. The first fear, fear of abandonment, which is inherent in all humans, is realistic as the infant will not survive if abandoned. If the infant or young child is not abandoned and if enough security is provided during the vulnerable childhood, the fear of abandonment will usually diminish. Fear of rejection can be considered to be a component of fear of abandonment. Almost all fears can be related back to the primary fear of non-life or death, which is the outcome of abandonment. Death, fear, abandonment, and rejection are all manifestations of powerlessness or loss of control. We are afraid of what we cannot control. We are also afraid of what we do not know. How can we control the unknown? Fear is often synonymous with insecurity. How can we feel secure in a world that is out of our control? How can we be afraid in a world full of pain? How can we not be afraid in a world full of pain? Fear is similar to pain. It is part of life. But the fear of fear can result in non-life. The life without risk, explorations without challenges, and without spiritual growth. Fear can produce a vicious circle. Loss of security in the world equals fear. Fear equals insecurity within. Insecurity within equals fear of self. Fear of self equals loss of control. Loss of control equals paralyzing fear. Paralyzing fear equals loss of security in the world. Being afraid of being afraid can produce the exact outcome that one was trying to avoid by being afraid in the beginning. Courage is not defined as a lack of fear. Rather, courage means doing something in spite of your fear. It is not courageous to do something we are not afraid of doing. If we are afraid and still do it, we are doing the hero's task. Paradoxically, the more we do when we are afraid, the less fear we have. And the less we do with our fear, the more power the fear assumes over us. Being afraid is being human. Being afraid does not mean that you are weak or powerless. Your fear is your feeling. Your behavior determines your character. Acknowledge your fear. Accept it without criticism. Be gentle with yourself because you are afraid, and do what you have to do anyway. Know that going through the fear is a true act of courage, the way of the hero. There's another powerful chapter for you, folks. We all have fear. We have to face our fears. And one of the biggest fears you have is fear of death, okay? Because it's unknown. And you have to admit you have fear. It's okay to have fear. It's not a bad thing. You're born with it. You can't do anything about it, okay? Face it, accept it, and get on with your life, okay? like I just said, fear of death is one of the biggest ones that people fear. And people want to deny that they fear. I talk to so many people that, oh, I don't fear death. You have to face your fear, folks. You cannot say you don't fear death. Acknowledge it, face it, it's okay. Once you face it, fear will go away. Okay? Your fear, well, it's natural process to be afraid. Okay, and it's okay to be afraid. I used to be afraid of death until I got self-esteem. Now, but death is a natural process, and I have self-esteem now, self-love, because of the simple things that you can do to attain self-esteem by looking in the mirror and saying, "I love you," and "I love my inner child." Okay, do those two things. Get the book, The Portable Therapist. Read through this book. Apply the other principles in this chapter, and it will fix your messed up life. Guaranteed. You can get a hold of Douglas Bickford at 753 at gmail.com. Douglas Bickford753 at gmail.com. If you have any questions or want to get a hold of me. And that's Bullseye there. Bullseye! Say hi, Bully. Say hi, Bully. He's the cat that the Great Spirit used to rescue me from a toxic relationship. Because my wife was going to kill him because he scratched her mother in the face. But the mother was hitting him. There was a cat fight, and was hitting him with a cane. And she got her face down there and he reached up and defending himself, scratched her in the face. Then she turned lied about it, told me and my wife, "Oh, he just jumped up off the floor and attacked me." Her fat, 150-pound overweight, know-it-all, narcissistic, bully mother that abused my wife and her other kids. And it's all swept under the rug, all the abuse that happened that the mother did to those children. Okay. Two daughters, two brothers. Okay. She emotionally, probably sexually abused all of them because she was sexually abused as a child, with all in denial. And I had to leave the relationship because my wife was going to kill my cat because her mother lied about it. Okay. That was just one of the things that happened in that sick relationship with those people. And I have let go in love against her and her family for my own mental health. You have to let go in love, folks, when people wrong you and hurt you and physically. I was abused for 3.5 years by those people. I've been abused my whole life because I was abused as a child, so I just took it. So that's all I knew. I've been in 4 marriages where I was abused. I was abused by the women that I was with, or the parents of the woman I was with. Not no more. I have self-esteem. I don't need any of those people because I have my own stuff. And I saved Bullseye's life, and he saved my life too. Because at that moment when my wife said she's going to kill my cat on November 2nd, 2020, I took him, I took my other two cats, and I left. I left everything. Took the $5,000 I had in the drawer, took an old RV in my 1987 Prowler and a 1987 Dodge van. And I hit the road. And I tried to go back twice because of my low self-esteem. But she didn't need me anymore because she had her fat mother and she is fat, okay? There ain't no denying it. She's 150 pounds overweight. She's a very evil person, along with her daughter and along with her brother that lived on my property. No self-esteem, self-centered, egotistical. They would brag about their lives, how great they were. And They don't have any idea how to even love. The whole family is one big dysfunctional unit. Anyway, Bullseye saved me from it. And I've let go and love to you, Cassandra, and all your family. But you're going to continue on in your hate and your dysfunction and your fog because uh, you were abused as a child and you're in denial of it. Your mom and dad were not nice people. Either is Denver. You told me the whole story about you hated those people when I met you. I mean, that's how you drug me into your sick world is by telling me within the first week of how terrible they were to you. And then you turned around and went right back to them and got rid of the guy that saved you, could have saved you from that mess if you would have walked away from it instead of cowering down to your mother when she moved in with us. But if you ever see this video, Cassandra, you need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. Get the book, The Portable Therapist. It will save you and it'll remove you from that whole sick situation that you're in. And I know you're right back in the middle of it again with them. Okay? And your mother's doing the same thing to you. And you're still drinking to mask all the pain. I don't know where you are, but I know that if you ever see this video, if you ever changed, went through the change and figured out uh, what happened to you as a child and quit denying it, quit masking it, you'll be way better off. That's what happened to me. I'm not the same person I was in 2017 when I put an ad on Craigslist and met you. But I am letting go in love because I have to do that for me. You destroyed our relationship, and uh, and because of your mother and your brother. There was many times I told you, I do not want Denver living on the property. But whatever he did to you as a child, I know that's all. That there's something weird that happened to you from them, and then you telling Kathy about it destroyed our relationship also. Okay, and hiding it from me, all whatever happened to you, and your dad throwing water on you in the shower. Your dad was a twisted person to want to look at his naked daughters in the shower. And by you saying, "Oh, he was just a joker," that's all a mask. You know, you 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 did it. You are mentally ill, and you're probably going to end up like your grandmother, schizophrenic, because all that mask pain that you've masked for your whole life is going to come out. It'll come out. It's going to come out. I don't know if you're in a relationship already with somebody, but the same thing is going to happen to you. And you destroyed the only person that could have. We were good together, but you destroyed it because of all your secrets. And I got healthy. Okay, I'm healthy minded. I'm letting go of you in love. And for everybody out there watching that, I have to. This is part of my therapy to let go in love of all the devastating things that has happened to me because of my no self-esteem and how my sexual abuse when I was a kid. I can't even talk to my own daughter or son because they're in toxic relationships with alcoholics. It always involves toxic relationships. Always involves drugs and alcohol and denial. And this whole book will teach you how to deal with that. But if you're in a toxic relationship, this is for all you out there. If you're in a toxic relationship, get out because it's never going to get any better. They're never going to change. And Please like, sub, and share these very important life-changing videos. I don't want anything from you, unlike 100% of the other YouTube channels. I just want you to look at yourself in the mirror and say, I love you, and say, I love my inner child. And get the book, The Portable Therapist, because I don't need your money. All I want you to do is those two simple things, because I want you to be able to have a happy life. Because until you get self-esteem, you will never have a happy life. You keep relationship jumping. I just witnessed it across the street. The twisted stuff that goes on. I mean, the woman bringing over the kid, uh, dropping him off. The guy doesn't have a job. The woman's working. She's, I mean, they're probably never even married. She's dropping the kid off to him, and he don't even have a job. And she's out working. I can see it when she got out of her car. She's all dressed up, ready to go to work. Early in the morning. It's only 7 a.m. here. Anyway, I'll have more later for you. You all have a great day out there.